Hi there and welcome back to my channel. This is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video we're discussing The Orphanage by the Lake, written by Daniel G. Miller. It's a thriller. It's a solid book. It's not fantastic, it's not terrible, it's just solid. On the cover it suggests it's a psychological thriller, but it's really not. It doesn't dive into characters' psyche deep enough to be that kind of book. It's more just a standard thriller for me. But there are good characters. The structure of the book is good. It's a bit predictable, I think. Those twists and turns, you predict them early on before they happen. So I kind of want my thrillers a bit more surprising. I want those twists to be surprising. They don't all have to be, but at least some do in a good thriller. Anyway, interesting story. It was fun, and I think a lot of people will enjoy this story. So Hazel is our main character, our protagonist. She's a private investigator. And she's interesting. She's gutsy, determined, stubborn. She is clever, but she's also vulnerable. To get different sides to her in this story. She's also looking for a case. She's struggling financially. She needs a case. And as luck would have it, a case walks in. Off the street, in walks Madeline. Madeline offers Hazel a job. Now Madeline is wealthy. You can tell that straight away in this story by the way she's written. Her body language, what she's wearing, way she carries herself, her dialogue, everything says wealthy in this story with this character Madeline. Madeline's goddaughter is missing. Madeline's goddaughter was at an orphanage and has been missing for a few months. And Madeline hires Hazel to try to find her. But there's a twist. She only has 1 week. If Hazel can't find the goddaughter in 1 week, then she's fired basically. And Madeline will try to find another PI to do the job. Hazel's not the first PI Madeline's hired. We find that out early on. And we don't know what other PIs have found out. Madeline won't tell her. So Hazel has to start from scratch. And this whole time frame, this week to solve the case, is quite strange. Because it comes like a race against time kind of story in a way. And it's strange when you have an abduction, because in a race against time story with an abduction, usually the abduction is immediate in the story, and there's a reason for it. There's like an imminent threat against the person who's abducted. It has to be found in a certain number of days, or they may die or something. But in this story, it's not like that. We don't know where the goddaughter is. We don't even know if she's still alive or not. So why this race against time? It doesn't make sense in the story. That was one of the biggest things about this story that I struggled with. That and it being predictable with the twists and turns. So in a book like this, with a thriller book, and I did like the structure of the story, so even though the twists and turns were predictable, the structure is really good. So everything made sense. When twists happen, they made sense. All the structure was well done. But those twists and turns weren't surprising. They were predictable. That's just down to how it's written. I think with a little bit more editing, maybe some of those twists and turns could be tweaked a bit. Some things may be taken out a bit early on in the story. Maybe a bit more suspense, a bit more questionable things going on, a few more secrets to make those twists and turns surprising. I'm not sure what things could be changed in the story to do that, but something could be to make it more surprising and just more engaging in that way. There are some good elements in this mystery though. So we have people coming up and slipping things to Hazel different times. And I like that because when it happens, those people act very scared, almost terrified. And you wonder why. What's scaring them so much? Why won't they talk to Hazel openly? What's going on in the background? And it makes you wonder. It's all these open questions about that. That was well done in the story because those little things about doubt, those little secrets that play through the story as you read it, that adds something to the book. So I like that, very well done. And the characters are all written very well. They're quite strong in different ways. So I did enjoy that as well. Even characters where you think, okay, it feels a bit stereotypical at the start of the story when you meet them for the first time, you find out they're not. As the book progresses, there's different layers to them, more complexity. That was well done as well in this story, because you're just learning things about them as you go on. I do enjoy books that do that. I like when characters sometimes, you don't know everything about them. You assume things about them, then you find out something different. So well done in the story for things like that. So Hazel is our protagonist, our main character. I did like her. She's engaging, she's well written. She's gutsy, determined, stubborn, brave, also vulnerable, so very complex in the story. She does do stupid things sometimes to put herself in danger, but you get that in books like this. Doesn't mean the character's written badly. Doesn't mean the plot's bad. It just happens. It's a trope in books like this, a common trope. You just have to accept it when you read certain stories in this genre, that the protagonist is going to do silly things to put themselves in danger to drive the plot forward in different ways. It's part and parcel of a story like this. But the character's good. I like her. She's engaging. She's clever. I like her observations. Sometimes she's sarcastic. Sometimes she's witty, cynical. All those things just round out this character a lot. One little thing about her I didn't like so much is how mean she is to her roommate, Kenny. So in this book, she has a roommate called Kenny. He's studying to be a police officer. She's quite mean to him at times. So I don't really like that about her in the story. It's part of her. You've got to accept it as the character in the story. But it makes her unlikable a little bit in the story for me anyway. And speaking of Kenny, Kenny is Hazel's roommate in this book, and he's studying to be a police officer. I like Kenny a lot. He seems gentle, kind. He seems that support character that sometimes you get in more cozy mysteries than this type of book. And that was a little bit strange for me in this story to have that character in a book like this. But he's there for support, to offer support to Hazel all the time. Even when Hazel's mean to him, he offers support to her. He is half in love with Hazel. She doesn't reciprocate those feelings. You get that right through the story. I think slowly Kenny gets the idea that's not going to happen between them. But as a character in this book, I like him. He's kind, he's funny, he's gentle, he's supportive. He's all those things that a best friend in a story like this needs to be. The only thing about their relationship is he's starting to be a police officer, and Hazel refuses for him to help her. He offers so many times in the story to help out with her investigation. She always says no. I don't get that. You think that if she was struggling on her case, she'd ask him for help. He's offering for free, for nothing, out of the kindness of his own heart, and she always says no. That was strange in the story. Madeline is the godmother who's trying to find the missing girl. Now, as a character, when you meet her, you assume different things about her straight away. And it's all because of how she's written. You'll find out later on some of those assumptions are challenged. You may change your mind about the character. For me, she's interesting and used very well because there's doubt about her as well in the story. There's doubt about other characters as well in the story, but about Madeline especially, and for different reasons. So I like that in the story a lot. She's well-rounded. She's very impatient as a character as well. She keeps popping up and just kind of at the wrong times, at the wrong places, and demanding answers from Hazel. It happens all the time in the story. And I like the interactions between them because it frustrates Hazel, brings something out in the character, so it makes it enjoyable and fun in that way. Even though it makes Madeline annoying as a character to Hazel in the story, I think it engages the reader more with Madeline's character because of it, if that makes sense. Even though I found this story predictable, those twists and turns, it's got a good structure, good characters, and it's mostly well written. I rate this a 3 out of 5. It's enjoyable. It's just a good mystery. I think a lot of readers will enjoy this. It's interesting because it opens up at the end the question, will there be a sequel? I kind of hope there is because I would read that sequel because I do like the characters in this book a lot. On my channel, I review many mysteries. If you enjoy mysteries, check out my channel and subscribe. On the screen now is a link to another video for a book I'm sure you'll enjoy.